Hey, what up, Mini Nation? It's your girl Jasmine. You can also call me Chocolate Mini. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about why I chose to become a vegan. So, my entire life, from as far as I can remember, I always struggled with weight and being overweight. I was an overweight child and I didn't lose a whole bunch of weight until I got to high school when I started playing basketball. So during like sophomore year of high school all the way to sophomore year of college, I was at my healthiest weight. I sat around between 190 and 215 and I was very lean, I was very toned, I was very fit, very active. But after I stopped playing basketball in college, the weight just started piling back on, and I didn't come from a family where, we cared about like our health and eating right. That wasn't my family. Like most of the people in my family are overweight. So it wasn't until 2017 where I watched the documentary What the Health. And that was a very powerful documentary for me, because just seeing like all of the hormones and things that they're putting into the meat and stuff and what it's doing to your body, like that really was just a game changer for me. So I tried being vegan for about 6 weeks and I was successful during those 6 weeks. I did everything right. However, my old habits just started slipping back in. But I was so upset with myself that I just couldn't stick with it. And over the years after that, like I would try and do a week, and I was able to do a week, but then I always slipped up. But after trying it in 2017, even though I failed multiple times after that, in my mind I knew like one day I'm going to be vegan. I don't know when that day will come, but one day Jasmine Nicole will be a vegan. But again, I just kept piling on more and more weight. And 2021, I was at my heaviest weight, you guys. I weighed 335 pounds. And let me just tell you guys, like, it was miserable. I was doing OnlyFans, but I was so insecure about my body, you guys. Like, doing OnlyFans and being insecure with your body, like it just didn't work. It doesn't work. Like you have to love yourself if you're gonna do OnlyFans. It just doesn't work. Like I would try my best to avoid taking pictures and making content. Like I would make content, but I really didn't want to because I didn't like how I looked. But there were so many women on the OnlyFans platform who were making a lot of money, so I just kind of sucked it up and dealt with it. But being that large, you guys, let me tell you guys, it was definitely a struggle for me. My knees always hurt. I had 2 knee surgeries back in college from torn ACLs and torn meniscus. So when one knee was all casted up or whatever, I had to rely on my other knee. And over time, my other knee started to experience more wear and tear because I'm not using the one that was operated on, and I'm trying to overcompensate. So both knees at this point were just struggling. Like, oh my gosh, my knees were always aching. My back always ached. My lower back, I was always tired, always breathing heavily. I'm carrying a lot of weight at this point. Like at that point, I was probably over 120 pounds overweight. And it was definitely a struggle for me, but I couldn't stop eating. And I realize now that me eating the way I was eating was definitely a cause of, being depressed and just not being happy with myself and not feeling worthy, all of that stuff. So it was a struggle for me. And it's kind of crazy how God works, because in 2022, we sold our house. And I was going to take a good portion of that, about $25,000, and get some plastic surgery work. I wanted to get a lipo, 360 lipo. I wanted to do a tummy tuck, and I wanted to do some lipo in my arms and in my thighs. Like I had a whole list of stuff that I wanted this surgeon to perform. I wanted him to work a miracle, you guys. Like, and it's crazy looking back at it because it's like I could have just lost weight, but at that time, like that's what I'm saying. I don't even understand where my headspace was at. All I knew was that this was a quick fix. I wouldn't really have to work for it. I could just wake up after surgery and be skinny. But what ended up happening was I didn't get approved for the plastic surgery because I had a thyroid issue that wasn't taken care of. I didn't even know I had a thyroid problem, to be honest with you guys. So I was absolutely devastated because I was banking on this plastic surgery just to make me happier, make me look better, just being able to take better pictures and do more content and stuff, and be secure with myself. So I was really banking on that plastic surgery, but I didn't get approved for it. I had to go and get a specialist involved, an endocrinologist, and get my thyroid levels under control. But anyways, so once I was told that I wasn't approved for the plastic surgery, I was like, okay, well, I have to make this content. I have to push this content. Like, this is the time. You know what I'm saying? I have all this money from the house being sold. I have money to promote myself. I have money to really take this business to the next level. But what's stopping me internally, like in my head, what's stopping me is my weight. And there are a lot of women who are plus size, BBW influencers, and they're killing it, you guys. But for some reason, I just didn't like myself at that size. I didn't like myself. And there are a lot of men on my OnlyFans who love plus size women, and that's wonderful. But I personally just did not like myself at that size. So I was like, okay, well, while I work on getting my thyroid levels in check, let me hire a personal trainer. So I hired a personal trainer, and I didn't even know he was vegan when I hired him. I just Google searched personal trainers in my area, and he was the first person that came up. So I called him, and he answered on the first ring, you guys. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got to be like fate. Like, God works in mysterious ways. But anyways, he answered on the first ring, and I was like, look, I'm looking for a personal trainer. I've tried multiple diets, but I'm always yo-yoing. I'll lose 20 pounds, gain 30. Like, that was my cycle for years and years and years, you guys. 4 years, okay? So finally met up with him, and he revealed to me that he's vegan, but he also said, like, even though he's a vegan, he doesn't push it on his clients. He has recipes for you if you don't want to be vegan and you can still eat healthy. So I was like, okay, because at this point, I'm not really trying to be vegan. I'm just trying to lose weight. So started working out with him, talking to him. He would ask me, like, what am I going to eat? What am I doing? Da-da-da-da. And I still had excuses at this point, you guys. Like, I still had excuses. I was working out with him every day, but I still wasn't eating right. And so one day, I had a personal training session, and I didn't go. Like, I just stood him up. I didn't call, didn't text, just stood his ass up. And so, of course, he reached out and was like, hey, are you okay? Like, I haven't heard from you. And I just straight up ghosted him for a good 4 weeks. And during those 4 weeks, you guys, like, I was so depressed. I was just so depressed because I had been working out with him for about a month. But like I said, my eating was still not in order. Like, I was still eating what the fuck I wanted to eat. Like, I would just keep it real with y'all. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and say I was following the plan. I wasn't. I was working out with him for that hour, and after that, I was eating how I wanted to eat. So it's no wonder I wasn't losing any weight. But anyways, during those 4 weeks, you guys, I was just so depressed. I was like, man, I can't get this surgery. I can't lose weight. Everything hurts. Like, I just don't even understand where my headspace was at this time, you guys. Like, I'm still confused as to what was going on in my mind. But I was just so depressed during those 4 weeks. Like, I just hated myself so much because I was like, why is it so freaking hard for me to get this weight off? Even though I know all I had to do was put the cheeseburgers down. Just mentally, I just was like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep failing at losing weight? So I was watching TV one day, and it's crazy. I was watching TV one day, and they were talking about, everything that can happen to you when you're overweight and as you get older. The same stuff my personal trainer was saying, but sometimes it's like you got to hear stuff from somebody else for it to click. I don't know. But anyway, so I was watching TV, and they were talking about health problems, and most of the problems caused by, diabetes, and high blood pressure and cholesterol is a result of being overweight and not monitoring your diet. And it was like at that instance, it just clicked like so randomly, because it's like I already knew these things, but it was like that particular day, it's like God just wanted me to watch TV at that time to just hear it. And I was like, okay, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I didn't get approved for the surgery. My personal trainer is vegan. I've always said to myself that I'm going to be vegan, but just haven't done it yet. And now I'm seeing this television program where they're just talking about diabetes and high blood pressure and life expectancy. It's crazy how things work, you guys. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this one last time. And this time I'm going to get it right. So I called him back after a month of ghosting. And he had tried to reach out to me multiple times, and I just didn't respond. So I finally reached out to him and was like, I'm ready to get back in the gym. And, you know, we started working out again. And I was like, okay, can I get some more information on this whole vegan thing? So, you know, he sent me recipes and things that he eats and things that he's tried to stay away from and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And little by little, you guys, I started incorporating more and more vegan meals into my day-to-day life. I didn't just start cold turkey. I started with breakfast. So for breakfast, and I still eat this to this day, dairy-free yogurt, strawberries, blueberries, and granola. That was my breakfast. And I was so satisfied with it. It was a delicious breakfast. It is a delicious breakfast. Like, it's so good. So I was able to keep that as my breakfast every day for a whole month. And then for lunch and dinner, I would still do, you know, salads or something with meat. But for breakfast, I was able to commit to that being my vegan meal. So I did that for a whole month. So then in September of 2022, I was like, okay, well, I was able to master breakfast and keeping my breakfast vegan. So now let me try to do lunch and breakfast and lunch. So I was able to do that for about 2 weeks, and I still kept my dinner meats like chicken or fish. I still would eat cheese, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, all right, we're 2 weeks in. I have breakfast and I have lunch vegan. Now let me try to get this dinner together. So I was able to do that. And ever since then, so I've been vegan for 5 months now. I've been able to stick with it. And the biggest thing I can say is the why. So my why is because I was tired of being overweight, and I was tired of crying about it, and I was tired of being depressed about it. I was tired of feeling like I'm not shit because of this body that I'm trapped in. And it's like, I kept gaining weight, and I was thinking to myself, yo, pretty soon I'm going to be 400 pounds if I don't figure this out. If I can't get this right, I will be 400 pounds. And then I'm going to be 500 pounds and then 600 pounds. Like, it's not going to stop, because every year I'm gaining more and more weight. So my why was just not being happy with myself. That was my why. And I tell anyone who asks me about being vegan, I tell them, like, if your why is not intact, you can't kind of be borderline like, I'll see. Because if you do it like that, if you approach it like that, you guys, you're not going to be successful with it. Like, I'm just keeping it real, because your why is not strong enough. My why is because I was tired of being sick and tired. Okay. And I still remember everything that I saw in that documentary, What the Health, that had sparked the whole interest in me to be vegan. But I feel like at that time, I just mentally wasn't there. I wasn't mentally mature enough to commit to completely changing my lifestyle. See, at that time, I still looked at it as a diet. You get what I'm saying? But this time around, I look at it as this is my life. And on top of that, I never had any vegan friends or anybody vegan who I could talk to and, you know, bounce ideas off of. So I think that had a lot to do with why I was not able to stay a vegan back then. But this time around, I have people around me who are also vegan. And, you know, I think that also plays a very, very big part, your environment and being around people that you aspire to be like. And now that I have my personal trainer and I have other buddies who are vegan, it's easier for me to stick with it. And my why is because I didn't want to be dying at an early age. You guys, I also worked in a transplant lab before I quit and started my OnlyFans career. So, you know, I was at that lab for 5 years, and I was actually at that lab when I decided to be vegan, or for the first time. And so, you know, that transplant list, that kidney transplant list is crazy, you guys. And I cannot make this up. I want to say about 90% of the people who are on that transplant list for kidneys, because we also did hearts and liver transplants and pancreas transplants and bone marrow transplants. But that kidney and pancreas list, you guys, for transplants, 90% of that list was Black people. I cannot make this up. 90% of that list was African American. And the crazy thing is, most of the people on that list were not old. Like, you know, I would assume that if I didn't know any better, I would assume that they were, you know, maybe 70 or 80, but that's not the case. A lot of them were 40s, 50s, and 60s. And to me, that's still very, very young. And so it was scary. Like, we would process blood from the dialysis centers to run our tests, and a lot of them were so young, you guys. They were young. Like, there were people who were 30s, and a lot of times, like, if you pulled up their chart, they were type 2 diabetics. And it just really blew my mind how, you know, my community is affected with something that is preventable, but because we don't have the knowledge or the resources, it's like, this is our fate. You get what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be that way. But, you know, in lower income communities or communities where food is not taught, like I said, I didn't grow up learning that, oh, I should be eating berries for fruit. You get what I'm saying? I grew up thinking that all fruit was good, and all fruit is good. But I never would have known that I can have as many strawberries and blueberries than apples. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's things like that. It's stuff that you don't know. And if you're not around people to teach you, you have no reason to look it up for yourself. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, I came from a family where everybody was overweight. My mom had gastric bypass, and, you know, she was successful with that for a while, but she gained a lot of that weight back. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. I just didn't come from that type of background. So I knew that if I don't change someday soon, like, that will be me. I was also diagnosed pre-diabetic. And at that time, I was like 28, 29. And I'm like, what? Pre-diabetic? What? Like, huh? I'm not even 30 yet. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I did it to myself. Like, and, you know, reflecting back on my eating habits were terrible, you guys. Like, some days I wouldn't even eat vegetables. Like, for breakfast, I might go to McDonald's and get 2 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits with 2 hash browns and a Sprite. For lunch, I probably would go to Chick-fil-A and get a large sized fry and a milkshake. And for dinner, if I cooked, it was probably some type of pasta dish, and I ate extra noodles. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's how I ate. And then, like, I always had to have dessert. So, you know, I couldn't just eat 1 king size candy bar. I would be eating 2 or 3. And if I went to Panera for bagels, I didn't just get 1 bagel. I would get like 2 or 3. Like, I'm just gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Like, I was really eating. Like, but I did all of that in private too. That's the other thing that just let me know. I knew I shouldn't be eating like this, because why am I hiding it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I found myself hiding how much food I was eating. Like, I might only eat 1 in front of people, but then I would take the other 2 or 3 and eat it in my car or something, so nobody knew I was eating all that. And that's the shame, that's the guilt. That's because I knew, like, you know, that's not okay. But I don't want people to say anything about me, so I'm gonna just do it in private. You get what I'm saying? So that was my why, just being sick and tired of being sick and tired of hating myself, tired of not liking the way I looked and just being insecure, like being so insecure over this. Just, you guys, it was absolutely ridiculous. And you should love yourself no matter what size you are. But I find that a lot of people, including myself, like the bigger you are, the less insecure you, or the less secure you are about your body. You know, I definitely experienced that. And then I was doing OnlyFans, so it made it worse because it's like, I gotta get butt ass naked. I can't really hide but so much. I can't hide under my clothes, you get what I'm saying? Because I don't have any on. So, you know, that's what it was. And, you know, ever since being vegan, like, I don't look back because I know what's on the other side of that. For me, I know that if I revert back to eating meat and eating the way I used to eat, I will be a full-fledged diabetic. I will have high cholesterol. I will gain weight, and I will die early. Like, that's what I know. So, you know, that's what's truly helps me stick to it this time around. Now, like I said, if you are considering being a vegan, first and foremost, take baby steps. And also, you guys, you have to figure out what your why is. If your why is just because everybody else is doing it, I promise you it's not going to stick with you. It only sticks with you when you're fully ready to commit to it. If you're not ready to commit to it, then baby, it's not going to work out for you at this time. You get what I'm saying? I just really envision my future being smaller and being more toned. Like, that's how I always saw myself, getting back to the size I was in college, if not smaller. So, you know, you have to figure out what your why is if you want to be a vegan. The other thing I gotta say to you guys is you can't push it on other people. Like, I've caught myself trying to push it on my husband, and, you know, you do it because you care about people. Like, you care about your spouse, you care about your family, so it's like you want them to experience this new life with you because of how amazing it is and how amazing it's been for you. However, if they are not ready to take that change, then you can't make them ready. You get what I'm saying? If you're literally wasting your time. It's not that my husband won't eat vegan foods or vegan meals with me, but he just doesn't enjoy them the way I enjoy them. And that's okay too. That's okay as well. But you have to remember that you cannot push it on other people. And like I said, I've been guilty of that myself, just trying to get him to do it because of all the great benefits I've noticed within myself that I want him to experience as well. But he's not ready. And some people may never be ready. You know, all I know is what I experienced and what I've seen. So that's why I say, like, God works in mysterious ways, because he could have put me at any job, at any lab. But I feel like for this reason, he wanted me to work at a transplant lab. It's kind of like he was showing me what's coming my way if I don't change. You get what I'm saying? And why was the seed planted in my head that one day you will be a vegan? You get what I'm saying? Like, after I watched that documentary, I knew one day I was going to stick with it, and one day it was going to be my life. You get what I'm saying? So I just feel like God works in mysterious ways. How is it that I didn't get approved for my plastic surgery after I sold my house because I wanted to get all that work done? Didn't get approved. And when I made my first phone call to the first personal trainer that showed up on the Google search, he was vegan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just things like that I just think about, and I'm like, It's like God was looking out for me or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I really feel that way. Like, just the chain of events that took place, like, right after one another. It's just kind of like, I feel like this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. Now, being vegan for these 5 months, you guys, it really has just saved my life in so many ways. And I still have a long ways to go in the process, but I just see so many changes. One of which is the weight loss. Like I said, I've been trying to lose weight for years and years and years and years and years, like for years. And Like I said, up and down, lose 20, gain 40, lose 10, gain 20. Like it's crazy. Like the yo-yo dieting shit, like that is fucking crazy. And it's like this time, I've never been able to stick to something for longer than like 6 weeks. Like never. Even when I was just doing like chicken and fish diets and, you know, just trying to eliminate some carbs and stuff like that, it would only last about 6 or 8 weeks. I would lose about 20, 30 pounds, feel good about myself. And next thing you know, I got changed back up to my old habits and gaining more weight than when I started. You get what I'm saying? But this time around, like I've actually committed to something for 5 whole months. Like that is so crazy for me. Like that's crazy for me. So, you know, one of the first things I gotta say is just the weight loss. And, you know, the other thing that's just amazing is the amount of energy that I have. Like I used to be a heavy coffee drinker. Like I had to have my morning coffee, y'all. I could not miss a day or I'm gonna be so sleepy. But you guys, like I don't even drink coffee anymore at all. Like I don't drink anything with caffeine. Like it's crazy. And I'm just so full of energy. I'm not taking any multivitamins or anything. All the vitamins that I'm getting is from my food. Like it is absolutely crazy how much energy I have. And when I started this video, I told you guys I had 2 knee surgeries and my knees and back always ached. You guys, I've never felt this young before in my life. Like I know I'm only 32 and that's still very, very young. But I'm saying, like, honestly, I feel like I'm 21. Like it's so freaking crazy. It's crazy how energetic I feel, how I'm moving better, I'm moving faster because of the weight loss and exercising and eating right. Like it's just absolutely amazing. Like I just feel so young. It's just so amazing. Like I'm just so blessed that things happen the way they happen, because if they didn't happen that way, I don't know if I'd be sitting here today telling you guys this story. I really don't think I would be telling you this story, because the way that things just happened is just absolutely crazy. Another thing that I can say, you guys, is my face has just cleared up so much, you guys. I used to have very, very, very bad acne, and I had a lot of dark spots, hyperpigmentation on my face. I don't even wear makeup anymore, not because I do have psoriasis and the makeup does irritate my skin sometimes, but honestly, I just don't even feel like I need it anymore. Like, I just feel like I was only wearing it to hide the dark spots and to hide the hyperpigmentation and the dark circles under my eyes. But honestly, you guys, like, I don't feel like I need it. I feel so confident in myself that I'm happy the way I look without it. And there's nothing wrong with women who wear makeup. I love I love wearing makeup as well, you guys. So I'm not even trying to say nothing about it. I'm just saying, like, I'm at this point in my life where I don't even feel like I need that. So I don't wear it, and I feel beautiful without it. Another thing that I can say is being vegan has also made me look at other things in my life that I was doing to my body that I shouldn't be doing to my body. One of which, I was a very heavy drinker when I was working. So I want to say I was drinking like between 2016 and right before I quit my job in 2020, I was drinking heavy, you guys. Like every single night I needed to drink. Every night. And even when I stopped drinking as much, I would still drink. Even past that, all the way up into 2022. And, you know, it's like I realized, I was like, okay, if I'm not eating the food because of this, and this for health reasons, why am I still drinking? Why am I still putting what I consider now poison into my body? It's not doing anything for me. It's adding calories. It's making me, you know, not really being able to control myself mentally because now I'm drunk. And sometimes you get sick the next morning. Why am I doing that to myself? You get what I'm saying? So I stopped drinking altogether. Another thing that I stopped doing was smoking. I used to love to get high, you guys. And you know, if there's a roach around, I might hit it 1 or 2 times. times, but I used to love smoking weed, smoking CBD. Like, that used to be my thing, you guys. I don't even do that anymore because I'm just like, none of this is making sense. So I'm not gonna eat the shit, but I'm still gonna, you know, smoke stuff and put smoke in my lungs and potentially damage my lungs and need, you know, lung surgery later in life. Like, none of that even makes sense. Like, if I'm gonna treat my body right, I need to treat my body right in all aspects. It can't just be the food. It has to be what I drink, and it has to be what I consume. Everything. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I stopped smoking. I don't smoke anymore. I'll do gummies here and there, like CBD Delta 8 gummies, but as far as smoking, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Like, I'm pretty boring at this point, but it's okay. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I love everything that I see about myself in the mirror. Like, I've never felt this confident in my body for years, and feeling like this now and just seeing the results and seeing how far I've come, it's mind-blowing, you guys. When I look at older pictures from 10 months ago, I'm shocked at how big I was and how unhappy I was. It's amazing because I'm just like, wow, I went from that to this in under a year. What the fuck is gonna happen when the year mark hits or when 2 years hit? Like, what am I gonna look like then? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's absolutely amazing. So, like I said, being vegan really has changed my life. It's changed my perspective on things. I really feel awoken. Like, I really feel like all those years before I was asleep, but now, like, it's like I'm awake. It's like I see what's really going on. And I'm just talking about for me. I'm not trying to knock anybody who eats what they eat. Like, if that's what makes you happy, if you don't feel the way I felt about stuff, like, please don't think I'm trying to throw jabs or anything. But I really just am so awakened now, and I see what's really going on here. I see that there's so many people in my Black community who are overweight because they don't know. Just like I didn't know. When I'm out and about, I see so many people who are overweight and obese, and it's just like, it doesn't even have to be that way, but so many people just don't know. You can't change what you don't know. And, you know, like I said, a lot of us aren't brought up in families where this stuff is taught, you know? Like, I grew up eating fucking bologna sandwiches and, you know, having fucking Pop-Tarts for breakfast and toaster strudels. You get what I'm saying? Like, where's the vegetables in that? Where's the fiber in that? This, you know what I'm saying? Like, every Friday we would go to McDonald's. That was like our Friday treat for making it through the week. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's sad because I think if people really knew what was going on, they wouldn't be consuming what they're consuming. And the other thing too is people think that being vegan is expensive, and it's really not. Now, if you are going to eat the processed meat, like the Beyond Burgers, and they got like breakfast sausage and stuff like that, now that is expensive. That's very expensive. But produce, even though food has gone up in price, that's everything. Produce is still very cheap. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you get steaks, like 2 ribeye steaks would cost us like $45. Like 2 big, nice size steaks. But you can get a whole week's worth of produce for that $45. But instead, we would get 2 steaks. That was only 1 meal. That's only 1 meal, 2 steaks. Me and my husband, that's 1 meal. So that's what I'm saying. Chicken is expensive. Hamburger meat is expensive. So that's what I mean. Even getting like the box stuff, like boxed macaroni and cheese, that's expensive. Getting Hamburger Helper, that stuff is expensive. So, you know, it's being vegan and eating produce, that's not as expensive as you think it is. It's just a misconception that it is. Because the other thing too is, you guys, that stuff that you're eating doesn't even keep you full for long. That's the biggest thing that I think a lot of people miss. And I also didn't realize it too. When you're eating poorly like that, when you're eating bad and you're eating a lot of processed stuff, you're gonna be hungry within the next 2 or 3 hours. You're looking for something else. Whereas when you're eating a well-balanced meal, you're full for hours. Hours. You might snack, like you might get a handful of nuts, but pause. But seriously, you are full for hours. But when you're eating junk and stuff, it's not like that. Like I would eat McDonald's and literally 3 hours later, I'm looking for my next meal. Like that's what I'm saying. So it's not any more expensive than what you're already buying, especially if you're like me and I was eating out all the time. Like to these fast food places. Fast food is expensive. Like that shit adds up. When I was getting my 2 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits with my 2 hash browns and my large Sprite for breakfast, that would be about $12 at McDonald's or at Chick-fil-A. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not as expensive as you think. Whereas I get a handful of strawberries, a handful of blueberries, and my little bit of yogurt and granola, that's about $5. Like all together, like when you divide out, my portion, that breakfast meal totaled $5. So $5 a day it costs me to eat breakfast. Then when I make my lunch, if you break that down, I'm probably spending another $5 to eat that meal. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be expensive. That's just what people think. So, ultimately being vegan is 100% your choice. Don't let anybody push you if you're not ready to be that. If you're happy with, what you're doing, then by all means continue doing it. But for those of you all who are considering, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. When I decide to have kids, my kids will be vegan. I don't know how George is going to feel about that, but my kids will be vegan. That's what's going to happen, because I don't want my kids to go through the same things that I went through being overweight. You get what I'm saying? And I know what these foods do to you. So because I've taken time to learn these things and educate myself on these things, I can't even picture giving my children those bad things when I know what it's doing to their insides. You get what I'm saying? And I also learned, and I didn't know this. See, I always thought like cancers and high blood pressure and diabetes. I thought for a long time, I thought that stuff was hereditary. Like that's just genes. But honestly, you guys, a lot of it, not all, but a lot of it has to do with what we eat. A lot of it does. Think of colon cancer. A lot of that is caused by not having enough fiber in your body for years and years, decades of doing that. That's what that's from. You get what I'm saying? So type 2 diabetes is from constantly spiking your blood sugar, your glycemic index. For years, you're making your pancreas work harder than it needs to, or that it's supposed to, because you can't let go of the white rice, you can't let go of the pasta, you can't let go of the candy and the cakes. That's what that's from. So when you know that, how can you continue to do that to yourself? You get what I'm saying? If you want to live, that's how I look at it, and that's how I would see it for my children when I have children. So I wouldn't want them to be doing that to themselves. But you guys, I hope this video has just really, really, really helped you. Maybe you guys were considering, you weren't too sure, but being vegan has really changed my life, and it's changed my mindset in so many ways. Like I said, I feel so awakened, and I can't believe I treated my body the way I treated it, by eating all those horrible foods, drinking as much as I was, smoking as much as I was. I understand when you're younger, it's like it doesn't really, you as you get older, you start to see stuff differently. When you're young, you feel invincible, like, oh, that could never happen to me. But as you get older, you start to see like, no, that really can happen to you. You know what I mean? So age does have something to do with it as well. So I'm not going to sit here and be mad at myself and how I acted in my 20s. A lot of us do stupid stuff when we're younger. But the point I'm making is now that I see what's going on and I see why I was overweight and I see why other people are overweight. You know what I'm saying? At first it didn't make sense. I would try to lose weight and I'd be like, how did I gain 10 pounds this month? Knowing damn well I had about 20 bagels. I went to McDonald's at least twice a day. I didn't work out. I've been eating candy every night. Like, is it really a surprise? But at the time, that was a surprise. I'd be shocked. I'd be like, what? How is this possible? But now that I've learned so much over these past few months, I'm like, I know exactly how that happened. It happened because I did it. You know what I mean? So I really hope this video helps you guys. Definitely leave me a comment below if you have any questions for me. And thank y'all so much for watching this video. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell at the top so that you will be notified when I drop new content. I love doing these vegan videos with you guys and just doing updates and just walking y'all with me through my journey, it's not even just a fitness journey, you guys. It's like a whole lifestyle journey. Just this new life that I live is just, it's so beautiful. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, make sure you guys check out these videos to the right and the left of you. These are great videos, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.